Hey, am I in the right room?
Your daddy can get you a jackknife when you go fishing and stuff like that, all right? So that's just wanted to make sure that that's understood.
The fuck? Did I walk in on something?
Okay, all right. Let me say now, talking about the marriage between a man and a woman.
Yeah. No. 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 No.
That's what the Bible says.
Fuck.
All right, that's what the Bible says. Okay, here's the way that I'm going to say that kind of the way I see this too is exactly like the preacher said. The Bible says that, and that is right. But now this, I will say this about that.
Now here's the way that I'm going to say that he said that I said that the Bible says that the preacher says that the Bible...
If two men live together over yonder, or over yonder.
Wait, what? What do you mean by over yonder? There's two yonders? What if they live together over that yonder? Is that okay? What's this whole thing about fucking yonders?
And they want to leave everything they got to the other one. So just say that. As they say, hypothetically speaking, let's say they want to leave what they've got, everything they've got, stuff to that fellow there that they're living with. Okay, nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong. But now, if when they draw that up, let's don't put marriage on that. Marriage is between a man and a woman.
So you can have this gun, and you can shoot whoever you want with it, but don't call it a gun. That's fucking crossing the line. That's stepping on sacred ground.
It was that way so that the parents could explain later on when the children got a little where children come from, you know how youngers are, where the babies come from, they could explain that. Marriage, that's what that was for. So they would be together with one another and share everything. Okay, now if it's two men living together, they want to leave everything they got to the other one. They could call it a marriage partner. They could have an emerge partner. Instead of marriage, call it a merge partner.
Now see here, what you need to do is call this gun an Oompa Loompa. Then it's not a gun.
As long as you don't mention sex.
Now I lived together with this guy, and we cuddled and spanked each other's asses and fed each other chocolate-covered strawberries, but we didn't mention sex. So, it's not gay.
No one knows anything about anything. They may just... Let me tell you this. I had an uncle one time that moved in with a fella, an older fella one time, because he didn't have no place to stay at the time. They were not, as you say, gay or nothing like that. My uncle was, and the old man who moved in wasn't either. And I know the two old women. These folks that share a dorm or something in college, that don't mean anything unless you say I'm homosexual.
Wait, you mean like you just did? Whoops.
I'm homosexual. That's the problem I see right there. Sex has never been ordained by God. In fact, it was the first sin, Adam and Eve and the serpent. And you see what happened to the serpent on that. But like I say, sex is the problem.
Okay, you know what? I'm sick of this stereotype of God being all sex negative. Just think about it. God has an eternal torture dungeon where he sends people when they're naughty. That's like the kinkiest thing ever.
If you don't mention sex, two men or two women can live together, share a place, have a place, and one can leave everything she got. Otherwise, they'll have a merge partner, they call it. They'll have all the rights, like, married people, that they call it marriage between a man and they'll have all the same thing. But if you don't mention sex, otherwise when they go home to their home and they may not have, and sex is not mentioned, they may not be no sex. We don't know. When you're not supposed to try to find out.
So according to your plan, they just don't have to mention sex, and then they can just go home and fuck, and you can't police them on it. You can't try to find out. So why don't we just allow gay marriage? It's literally the exact same thing. What? Why are you talking about this like you're some sort of authority that's gonna decide this? I mean, it's already been decided, like a year ago. What are you doing?
That sex is between two consenting people of age, and that's where it's supposed to stay, right there. You're not supposed to go out and talk about it It's the old song Behind Closed Doors. I don't know if any of you have ever heard that, but there was a song that called Behind Closed Doors. Well, then that's where the sex thing's supposed to stay between the two people.
You just hide in the closet and repress all your feelings, and then everything will be A-okay. Yeah.
It's not supposed to be talked about. It's not supposed to be filmed. It's not. Sex is a very, and I say this to the young people, sex is a very dangerous thing.
I mean, depends on what you're doing, but I mean, yeah, maybe.
As dangerous can be as dangerous as cocaine or anything else. If you start young, say a young person, and get hooked on that, it'll paralyze your mind to where you won't learn very good like you ought to most times.
You know, like mine, I'm real good at that intellectual brain smart stuff, you know? I am a bona fide elementary school graduate.
Then it's going to create all kind of problems. Sex, I think, well, sex is the biggest, most reason all the homeless, abused children in the world is because of sex.
Okay. I mean, you're not wrong. It's also the reason anyone exists today. It's the reason you exist. You know what? On second thought, you're right. Yeah, sex is awful. Let's get rid of it.
You know, and they're 99.9%. I guess there's a few that's been artificial, this inseminated stuff like that was because of money then. So the love of money and sex is the two worst things out there, and sex is a mighty big one. You're not supposed to talk about that.
Wait, but aren't you talking about sex right now? Whoops!
Parents teach that to their children when they get of age to know. They tell them where babies come from and how that, and that's the end of that.
Yep, that's the end of that. No such thing as condoms or birth control or STDs or...
And young people, I say this, don't concentrate or worry about that part of it. That's nature. If it's nature, let it happen naturally between two people, and don't focus on, don't let that be your main focus in life, to worry about how sexy you look. Don't worry about that. You need to concentrate on what you're going to do career-wise.
What if I want to be a porn star?
And that kind of stuff. Don't go around like that, and you won't have near the problems. If you want, but if you let that be your main topic, and you worry about that, and you just experiment with that, and all this, well, and two, like I'm saying, what are they gonna do? Like on the talk about teaching the sex education in school.
I love this guy. The SKU.
And now they're wanting to tell them about the homosexuals in school. What are we going to have directly? Are we going to have this showing how that goes on? What are we going to do about that? Are we just going to tell them, Rick, you're going to have to show them, ain't you? Just like they do the man and woman. You're going to start showing that? What's that going to be like? I'm telling you, you need to leave sex out of it.
I'm not even sure what your argument is anymore. I'm not even listening. It's just noise coming out of your mouth hole.
Sex was here for the world to multiply, and that was kind of a punishment.
Man, God is really bad at punishments. Oh, and screw his next tirade. It's not even worth it. And that's saying something considering all the shit we've already covered.
Snap back to spaghetti. Listen, I think in the Bible, we'll talk about this for 7 generations, you're held accountable for that.
Hey, my judgment started at red and blue. It's almost over.
So, you see, there can be a lot to that. Sex is very serious, and you shouldn't dwell up on that. Don't dwell up on that. And don't worry about how sexy you look. Just look nice and don't worry about it.
Yep, just be a boring sack of shit like me, so I don't have to be alone in how pathetic I am.
You young people, go to school and study something else. Study what you're going to do to make a living.
Again, what if I want to be a porn star?
Study how you can help the world. And having sex won't help the world.
Hey, that's helping more people than your ass.
I'll tell you that. That's a private thing, should be left right there. Write me, and let me know things that you'd like to talk about. Let me know what you think. Or things you'd like to discuss about the Bible. Have us to ask the pastors we have on here and the preachers.
Just thinking about that makes me want to vomit from boredom.
And that's the topic we're going to be bringing up. Pastor, preacher, reverend, father. They like to be use different terminologies for those. We're going to be talking about that later on too. But write me at P.O. Box 429, Montgomery, Alabama.
Oh, nice. The camera fucked up your address. You didn't even think to, like, look back at that? Oh, and yeah, sure, don't worry. I'll send my fucking carrier pigeon.
36101. And give me some feedback on what you think about what I was talking about. That if two people live together, they don't mention sex, they have an emerged partner. But don't use marriage. It's just the word. It's the word marriage and husband and wife.
Yeah, we get it. Your idea of arguing is playing a game of fucking Scrabble. Great, whatever. You know what? I'm just gonna leave. Big fucking waste of my time.
For you.
Wait, who the fuck?